So it's been a minute, and that's because I was waiting on a couple of things to arrive for this video. So let's get into it. With the Thought Bubble Comic Convention fast approaching in November, I realized that I need to update my branding so that it's cohesive across everything. So that's what this video is going to be about. Basically, I wanted to get business cards made, and very quickly in the process of doing that I realized, well, then I want to have my website on the back of the business card, and I want to have cohesive branding across all my platforms. And suddenly what I thought was just going to be a cute little sit down, draw up a business card, send it off to the printers and get it back has become a bit of a bigger task. And as you may have seen from the intro card, I have made a couple of changes. And one of them was when I was creating my business card, I was looking on Pinterest at so many different options, so many other different styles and what people put on them and what art they display. And I have really been loving, as you may have picked up from a lot of my sketchbooks, little houses in the middle of nowhere. I find it, I don't know, something, it sits right with my soul. It works so well for me. So I started sketching different options, whether I wanted it landscape or vertical, and I fell in love with the idea of having the card vertical, rounded corners, and just a little house in the middle of nowhere with cozy, nice colors. And then on the back, I wanted to have a bit more of a splash of the cartoony side that I really love. And who better to be the mascot of the day than my old big bear? And for some of you who maybe have seen my older stuff or followed me on Instagram before I did a bit of a rebrand, you know that my Instagram handle used to be Just Bearable. It was a bit of a play on words because I was an emo little teenager and life was a struggle. But my mascot back then was a bear, because of Bearable and because I absolutely was obsessed with bears. So I kind of liked the idea of continuing with a bit of that, like a nod to my roots in a way. So let's run the footage of me mocking up my business card. After sketching it out in my sketchbook, I then pulled it into Procreate, and on two separate layers I kind of made the front and the back. I wasn't too psyched with the fonts that Procreate has, and I haven't been bothered to import any new ones at this point. So I found one that was kind of like good enough to set the format, I guess, or like the basic outlay. And then I started coloring in and getting mountains, and I just couldn't get past the ugly text. So I went back and I covered it with just the studio pen. So I just drew over the letters that were already there to make sure that way that they were still, you know, in line and roughly the same size and not too wonky. So going through all that just kind of added a bit more character to my name and to the front of the card. And while I was doing this, I was also looking at the overall picture, and I didn't really love the colors or the layout of the mountain, so I kind of rejigged it a bit, and I was much happier with this look. I love doing the little houses. This one was a photo that I saw on Pinterest, and I wanted to kind of match the vibe that it gave me with the colors and the little house. And then I added a little washing line and a bunch of details. Like I was saying before, as I started mocking up my business card, I realized I had a lot of things I had to put in place. Like, I loved the idea of having a QR code on the back of my business card. How easy for people to just scan and find your stuff. Like, great, perfect, I love that. But then I came into the issue of, I have a website. It's probably not going to be my forever website. I would love a storefront, but at the moment my Etsy is, I don't know how long I want to commit to that. And you know, I just needed to kind of future-proof my business card a little, because I don't know, you know, who in 6 months might look me up from my business card and suddenly all the links don't work, or you know, whatever. So the next step was making a link tree. This way I could have my link tree as the big QR code, and then you get the list of like all my different socials and where you can find me, and eventually my Etsy, so you can buy stuff, like all that sort of thing. I thought that that was like the perfect way to do it. And then because I've managed to eventually have almost all my handles across my socials as the same, Hadassah the Artist, I also just tagged that, so if anyone just wanted to type up my name, they could easily find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and then my email address, which I don't really know how useful that is at this point, but you never know. And the more ways you can be contacted, the better, I think. So yeah, so back to it. So worked out that once I made my link tree, sorted, cool, that was going to be the main QR code on the back, and we could continue on to the printing process. I seem to really struggle with getting the color I like correct on Procreate, and then that looking close enough when it's printed out. A lot of the times, make something, print it out, and the colors look whack, or they look so different to the point that it's kind of disappointing. So once I kind of worked out the front of my card, I went and I just printed at my home printer the two options of colors. You can't really tell, but it was very helpful to just see what it would look like once it's printed. I actually ended up printing this the first time, and I can't find the bit of paper, but the colors were so muddy and muted, so I had to bring up the brightness and the saturation on Procreate, printed it again, and then at this point I wasn't sure whether I wanted to keep with the purple to match my name or have it white. And after going back and forth, I think that out of the two options, the white, like my name, just pops a lot better. So that's where we got to with that. So once it was all kind of looking good, I worked out that Vistaprint is probably who I was going to go with. I have used them before and it was fine, but they're very cheap. So at this point, that's all I'm wanting to kind of invest into the business cards. I don't think I'd use Vistaprint for any prints or anything like that, but I just need a fat stack of business cards to have ready. So we toddled over to the website and started uploading it.
I went to the Vista website first to see what the size for the cards would be, and then I used a canvas that size in Procreate to draw it up. So then when it came time to import both sides, that was really easy, they fit perfectly. I decided that I wanted to have the email address written in an actual font, so I just used the edit tool that they have on the website, and then I loved that you could kind of see what it was going to look like through that view. I just went for the standard. I probably would recommend a thicker card, it is quite thin, and I obviously really wanted the rounded corners, so that cost a bit more. I don't know why it's showing in euros, but anyway.
Now that it is possible for a lot of people to quite easily find my website, that was the next point of call. I wanted to get it looking a little more sharp and shiny, but most importantly, I really wanted to showcase some of my upcoming projects, like my comic work.
So I have a kind of home page with different examples, and then you can also tab through to specific projects. So this one is where you can find a bit more write-up on the one I'm working on.
I also wanted to have a bit of a blurb about me,
which hopefully gives a bit more understanding of my style.
I also want to get into writing blogs. So if you are interested in reading about any sort of art processes or preparation, tips and tricks, or anything art related, that is where you can go. And I already have my first post, so I hope you enjoy.
I have the link to my website in my YouTube channel bio and also below. And then through the website you can also get to my Instagram, where I post updates on things I'm working on or just like funny little memes. And you can also get through to my TikTok, which I'm hopefully wanting to do a bit more on, but it's, yeah, just for some more fun, lighthearted short form content. So like I said, that's all the website link is sitting in my bio. Then my stuff arrived, my business cards arrived, and so this is me opening it for the first time. You could see my fiance's finger get in the way at that point. Yeah, it arrived really quick. I ordered it, I think, on a Thursday, and by the following Thursday it arrived, and they're all nicely packed. They were feeling good, they look good, they all were the same size and rounded edges, so yeah.
So as you might have seen from that last clip, my business cards have in fact arrived. I can't remember, I think I have 250. So plenty, but I think they look so cute. I love the rounded corners. Let's get a bit closer. Ooh. I love the rounded corners, and then the back. So, step one of getting my business more together, tick.
It's a bit of an abrupt ending. I forgot to do my outro, but thanks for watching. Bye.